So I never actually planned to run for office. I really like helping other people.
Okay.
And that was really why I enjoyed public service. It was that idea of helping and, hopefully making some change to make the place a better place for everybody. And I was happy working for someone else. And then folks started to encourage me to consider running. But to be honest, I'm an introvert. This is not my comfort zone at all. And so I was happy in the backgrounds. And then it was when I had my first daughter and light bulb went off. And I thought, well, okay, it's not about just me anymore. It's about her and her future.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the HumanizeHer Podcast. I'm your host, Erica Lockheimer.
And I'm your co-host, Elizabeth.
Today on HumanizeHer, we're joined by Santa Clara County Supervisor Margaret Abe-Koga. From her roots as the daughter of Japanese immigrants to her time at Harvard, Margaret's journey is a masterclass in resilience. As the first Asian American woman to serve as mayor of Mountain View, she now helps manage a massive $13.5 billion budget that oversees the hospitals and services that 1 in 4 residents in the community rely on every single day. But today we're going beyond the policy. Margaret opens up about her secret battle with breast cancer while on the campaign trail, the reality of being a stubborn introvert in a high visibility career, and the universal challenge of balancing mom guilt with public service. We're demystifying how local government actually works, from the legal mechanics of checks and balances to the everyday persistence required to lead. This is a conversation about finding your voice, navigating the complex layers of our community, and the human side of leadership. This episode of HumanizeHer is brought to you by BitGo. Just like we believe every woman deserves the tools to thrive, BitGo believes every business deserves the digital asset infrastructure to scale. Because digital represents more accessibility, more transparency, and more possibilities for everyone. Thank you, BitGo, for sponsoring Women's Voices. We are super excited because we have Supervisor Margaret Abe-Koga with us today. Thank you so much for being on HumanizeHer.
Thank you for having me. It's really an honor.
We're going to have so much fun. We're going to learn so much about you. We're going to also learn about this space, just being a woman in politics and what does that mean and your career journey. And also you have a lot of milestones where you have been the first of so many things and hitting glass ceilings on so many different levels at being a female in politics. So we're going to get through all of it. But first of all, I want to start off with your journey. How did you even start becoming involved in politics? Like, what does that journey look like? And tell us a little bit about your growing up. Yeah.
Well, again, thank you so much for having me. It's really an honor to be here with such powerful women. And I think storytelling is so important to share our experiences and lift each other up. So thank you for having me. So I'm a local girl. My parents were immigrants from Japan. Okay. And you might have heard the term anchor baby.
No. Some explaining might happen now.
Yeah. So I think in light of all of the political issues going on and frankly immigration, my parents were visiting the U.S. and trying to decide if they wanted to immigrate here. Oh. And my mom was pregnant, and then she had me at Stanford Hospital.
Oh, wow.
My goodness.
Okay. So you anchored them here.
Yes. Wow. Yeah. So because I would be, or I am, American citizen by birth, then that was, in a way, their entree into immigrating here if they chose to do so. And they said they thought about it, but as a female, they did think that the U.S. would offer more opportunity than Japan. I think the irony now, looking back, is that here right now, Japan has its first female prime minister.
I know, it's amazing.
We have yet to elect our first woman president. So,
well, maybe there's opportunities. Just saying.
Yeah, Mac is coming up.
Yeah.
So my parents, they grew up in war-torn Japan, and their education was cut short. So my dad, I think, went through middle school, and then my mom got a little bit of high school. So when they immigrated here, my dad was a gardener. We lived in San Mateo. There's a fairly large Japanese-American community there. And then my mother started out cleaning houses and then ended up at the airlines making your little meals for the airplane trips. So I would say we grew up poor. My parents didn't really speak English. And so when I learned English, I became their translator, which is typical immigrant story. And it was through that I saw when you don't have a voice, you don't understand the language, you face a lot of struggles and discrimination. I remember being swindled by some, contractors, and my dad was, again, a self-employed gardener, so, he would bill for his services and never get paid by some of his customers. So seeing all of that as a child left a strong impression on me. And so I felt like whatever I did, I wanted to do something where I could help make sure everybody has a voice and has representation. So I enjoyed school student government. I started running for office as a third grader.
Are you serious? Okay, what did you run for office in the third grade?
So I ran for treasurer. Class treasurer.
Nice. Okay.
I lost.
Okay.
And then just kept going. And, fortunately, I had great teachers who really encouraged me to keep going. So I did. And I think my win record maybe was 60% in high school, through high school. And then I met my future boss as a senior in high school. We had a youth and government day.
Oh, wow.
And then San Mateo County Supervisor Anna Eshu came spoke. And she really touched me as a strong female policymaker. And so I thought, well, maybe public service is something that I'd like to pursue. I ended up going to Harvard, studied American government, and then when I graduated, she was running for Congress. And prior to that, as a college freshman, my freshman summer, I came home and I got a scholarship to work in the public sector. So I had asked if I could intern for Anna Eshu, and she took me in. And that's really where I learned about county government and all the things that it does. And I felt like that would be the place that I would like to be someday.
Wow. Oh my gosh, you said so many things in there that I'm trying to unpack, because here you are, we're humble beginnings, like you said, grew up poor, and then all of a sudden you graduate from Harvard, and then you're working with Congresswoman Anna Eshu, who's absolutely amazing. Like, going to Harvard it's expensive too. Like, how did you even get into Harvard? What was that journey?
So again, I was really fortunate. We had a great college guidance counselor at the high school. And for whatever reason, one day she called me into her office as a freshman, and she said, "Margaret, I want you to do this and this and this." And she would call me in, just continuously saying, "Do this, apply for this scholarship, we have this program for you." And so I really owe it a lot to her for guiding me. As I mentioned, my parents never went to college. They didn't know what the whole process was. So I'm really fortunate to have had such a great guidance counselor. And then again, so much of it is, just luck in a way, and the folks that you get to meet along the way. And, Anna Eshu showed up at my high school and really inspired me. And she's really been my inspiration and sort of like my political mom. So I interned for her. I volunteered for her. So when I graduated from college, I came home and she was running for Congress. And so I volunteered for her campaign. And then when she was elected, she invited me to come work for her. So just very fortunate, and really appreciate the mentorship, how important that is.
What a phenomenal woman to have as your mentor, essentially. Like, literally, you want to be where she is one day, and she said, "Come on, let's go."
Yeah.
And also you just being in the trenches and having empathy and perspective, right? And then you're like, now I want to serve. I mean, I think that's just like absolutely beautiful, and not everybody gets that when they start off. So then when was your first political office? Yeah.
So I never actually planned to run for office. I really like helping other people.
Okay.
And that was really why I enjoyed public service. It was that idea of helping and, hopefully making some change to make the place a better place for everybody. And I was happy working for someone else. And then folks started to encourage me to consider running But to be honest, I'm an introvert. This is not my comfort zone at all. And so I was happy in the backgrounds. And then it was when I had my first daughter and light bulb went off. And I thought, well, okay, it's not about just me anymore. It's about her and her future. So what can I do to really make some kind of impact so she has a better future, a brighter future? So at that time, there was an opening on the Santa Clara County Board of Education, and I thought education was really my pathway out and up, and wanted to focus some work there. So I ran for that seat and was elected, and gosh, that was 2002.
Wow.
Yes. Okay.
What does running look like? Just to educate folks, like what is the process? And
How do
you're
you
like,
get
hey,
your
I want
name
to
on the
do
ballot?
that.
Yeah.
So the beauty of elected office is that there's no requirements, really, right? You just anybody
There's not.
can run.
I don't know. Like,
Other
really?
than,
could go run if we wanted to?
Yeah,
Okay.
anybody can run, as long as you're a registered voter. And,
registered voter. Okay.
Some seats require you to live in that district.
Okay.
But other than that, there's really no requirements. So that's the beauty of our democracy. I would say it's helpful to have a base of support. So I think, and I tell folks who are interested in running that really the most important thing is to find your passion, and figure out what you really care about. And the reason being that this job is, not a piece of cake. And some people actually, Anna used to say it's not for the faint of heart. And it is. It's a tough job. You get more criticism than praise. You really have to open up your life and give up quite a bit of privacy. There's a lot of sacrifice, just the time that you spend on the job. And, as a mom too, I missed a lot of unfortunately, their volleyball games or their school plays. So there's a lot of sacrifice. It's a tough job. So that's why you have to have that passion, because that's what I think keeps you going. And keep your eyes on the prize.
And education was your passion. So that was one of the first places that. Yeah.
Yes, I think because, again, I benefited from great teachers, this amazing college, counselor, and I wanted to pay it forward. So I pursued that. Then things changed, and again, folks started to encourage me to run for city council in Mountain View. And at that time, we had 7 members, and the 2 women were terming off. So it was this issue of representation. And I do think that's really important as a woman, as an Asian American. And what was very impactful for me was that there was an issue where the city was trying to decide whether to build a child care center for low-income families. And it had been talked about for years, just back and forth. And so one night they had it on the agenda. I decided to go do my 3-minute public comment in support. And when I looked up at the dais, I saw there was one woman and no one who had young children. And I had just had my daughter. And so I thought, that's the missing voice. And that was a real impetus for me to run. I lost my first time. I lost by 105 votes.
That's like
Not that I'm counting.
right? Yeah.
Wow.
But fortunately, folks were very encouraging, and they put me on the planning commission. And then I ran 2 years after that in 2006 and won as the top vote getter. So.
But you weren't discouraged when you lost. You still stayed involved in a different capacity until it came your time to run again. So you persevered through that.
I had heard a lot of people do if they lose, they don't try again. I think for me, what I realized during the campaigning was how people, people I didn't know came out to support me, and realizing it wasn't about just me, but the folks who were supporting me. And I think coming that close, I felt like I owed it to everyone, including myself, to try again.
Yeah.
And so fortunately I did, and the support was still there.
And that community that supports you is like, yes, she's finally in office. That's great.
I mean, and that is,
I love the point that you also made. Not only, you fail and you try again, which is like remarkable, and thank goodness because you're here. But the second thing is you also said being an introvert, and here you are going to a meeting. You're like, wait, I got something to say. I mean, some of those characteristics are not something that you think like, hey, even when I met you, I'll be honest, I'm like, wow, Margaret's like a little bit quiet, a little bit shy. I'm like, here she's running, part of our, our state. And I'm like, what is happening? This is amazing. So I just really value that, and that you don't always have this perfect mold of what that person in office should look like. And so it's actually more, I think, humbling and beautiful to see. So
thank you. Yeah, it's interesting because as I talk to my colleagues, more and more I find we're introverts. There's more introverts maybe than extroverts in this realm. And maybe as introverts, we need our little time to cocoon and think things through. So I will say it has been uncomfortable. I've had to really kind of break out of my comfort zone in many ways. To this day, I still get nervous when I have to make some speech in front of a crowd, and I might lose some sleep the night before. I certainly prefer the smaller settings. But again, I think it's just that, right, having that passion, knowing why you're doing this makes it all worthwhile. And I often say the wins are few and far between, unfortunately, but when they happen, it just makes everything worthwhile.
It feels big. Yeah. And I mean, you may have a quiet voice, but you have a constant voice because you're consistently pushing the agenda of what you believe is right for the people around you.
Yeah, so I think persistence, people have said to me, I'm pretty stubborn. I'm kind of competitive.
A stubborn introvert. I like it.
I used to do martial arts. And so
don't mess with you.
There's a competitive streak to me. So eventually, I try to get my way, wear people down.
So there's worked different ways.
Yeah, and I think that's what as women too, we're showing that there are different styles of leadership, and we're showing that there are many different ways to be effective, and frankly, sometimes a lot of times nowadays, I think women are more effective. And you're right. There has been this mold of, what does a leader look like?
Yeah.
And we used to have this spring parade, and we'd have a theme, and we had to dress up as superheroes. And so I dressed up as Wonder Woman, and there was a man who was dressed up, I think, as Abraham Lincoln. And my colleague told me she ran into a little boy, and he said, "Oh, is that the mayor, Abe Lincoln?" And she said, "No, it's Wonder Woman." And I just thought that was so great. But, again, to be able to show that leadership comes in different forms, I think is really important.
Yeah. Wow, I love that. That's amazing. So the office that you won, that was at the mayor office. What was that position?
So that was for City Council.
Of
Mountain View.
Mountain View.
And as mentioned, I was the first Asian American woman to serve there. There was a gentleman before me, and again, and it was really, a lot of it was about just wanting to represent these voices that weren't well represented prior.
Your parents must have been so proud being Japanese immigrant Yeah,
my dad was interested in politics when he was in Japan, and the story was if they had stayed, he probably would have run for office himself. And then I remember him saying, only in America can the daughter of immigrants who don't even speak the language get to be mayor. So
that's beautiful.
Such a prideful moment. Oh my goodness.
Absolutely.
And your mom as well, I'm sure.
Yes, she was more traditional, frankly. And I think, to be honest, there was conflict within her. They lived with us until they passed, because I was helping to take care of them as they got older, and they had a lot of health issues. So when I had my daughters, we moved them in. And I'm really glad, too, that my girls were able to spend that time with my parents. But my mother was conflicted, and I think it was hard for her to see. But in the end, I think she understood, why I wanted to do what I wanted to do, and was supportive. And I think she supported me by helping out with our home front.
Yeah,
Right,
that
helping
makes
take
sense.
care of things. And I think it's a beautiful thing you mentioned this, because a lot of women have this burden put on them to be the caregiver, to be the mom, to be, school drop off, pickup, practices, dinner on the table, all the things.
Yep.
And you're doing the caregiving for your parents as well as your children, and you're making this impact in your community at the same time. So how did you juggle all of that?
Certainly, it was a challenge, and I think about it as women. There's an expectation, right, that we can do it all. I'm not sure that that's really true. I think that there obviously are sacrifices, and
For sure.
for yourself as well as those around you. And I have to say, my older daughter has had challenges with mental health over the years, and this started to come out as she was in middle school, and I was in the midst of serving. And frankly, thank goodness for COVID, because that was our opportunity to spend time together and to work through things with her. But I do think about that, and there are times when she had said to me, "Mom, sometimes I feel like your other issues are more important than me."
And that's like right to the heart.
Yes.
I can't
So
imagine.
definitely there are these challenges, and it is hard to do it all. And I don't really know if you can. And so that's why the support network is important. And my mom was, but I think she always believed like someone should be home when the kids come home, and she was always there. And lately, as the girls have gotten older, they're in their 20s now, but they tell me the stories about what my mom would do, and taking them to the bank, or making them, learn how to fold laundry. And it was those just those everyday life skills that seemed to ground them. And so I have newfound appreciation for what my mom did.
Yeah, it
No,
takes
it's
a village.
true. It's true. I mean, I've always had nannies for both of my kids too, and it's just you miss out on things. I mean, there is sacrifice when you choose career, and especially when you're serving, and you're going to miss out on opportunities. You're going to maybe like, hey, what if I was there more or not? But then you had your mom that was helping. My mom helped me a lot too, and caregivers, but you do miss the first, and it stings. I mean, but you make choices too, and it's interesting because us women will talk about this all the time, but do you hear a lot of husbands talk about it? I mean, I honestly talked to my husband around it recently. I'm like, do you ever feel guilty, like looking back? He's like, no.
Oh, really?
I'm like, what?
Even when I'm bringing it to your attention
I'm
right
bringing
now.
it to your attention. Like, our son said this. And it's like, he's like, because, we were trying to hustle. We were trying to make ends meet. We were trying to do all these things. And like, that was the expectation of a husband.
That's a good point.
And it's like, why do we carry this burden of always questioning? And I think we did the right thing, but like, you may not be able to have it all. Who's going to ever have it all? But there's sacrifices. So for sure.
Yes. And then as for work, like I wanted to, work to help support the family, but it had to be part-time. And that's where I realized how challenging it is for women. It's hard to find really substantial part-time work in our society. And, I think it's great to have childcare. I mean, that's really important. But I also had, a group of moms who decided to take time off to take care of the kids. And then when they try to re-enter the workforce, it's difficult. And so I've been an advocate of that, of just having more flexible work schedules. I think COVID
Like
really
within your
helped.
office, like you'll allow
Yes,
that? Okay.
yes, work from home. So I've worked from home pretty
Yeah,
much all
you're
my
like,
life.
I need to work from home.
So, for my office, we allow that. And if you have to go pick up your child at 3:00, that's fine. As long as you get the work done, I think that's great. So definitely trying to model some of the experiences that I had as a working mom, and trying to make it easier for other working moms.
I know it is those critical hours. It's like, who created the 9 to 5?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
It's like you
yes.
have school and drop
Oh.
off. But I was actually talking to a recent man, and he's like, in a different position, entrepreneur, I can have my own different hours.
Sure.
It's like he wants to be there for drop off and pickup. It's like
Oh.
10 and 3 are my working hours. And other than that, it's like, hey, schedule around it. Like
Yes.
if you can create a policy for the state of California, that would be amazing for all of us.
Whoa, 10 to 3.
I know. No, it's true. And just
Yeah.
have
We'll
like working hours.
Change Dolly's song. Working 10
Right?
to get 3.
No, it's important. It's like, when are we going to get there? So
I think that's why it's important for to have women in these decision making roles, because it's still on us.
it is.
And we have to be at those places where we can make those policies or
Right.
change the policies and really change the culture too, to make it acceptable. I think, again, COVID really did help in that way. Men started to realize or understand what it's like when you have your kid running around and you're
Or
trying to
walking
do it.
into the office on TV or whatever.
Right. And then I would say too, even for what we do, the boards that I sit on, we have, because our county, Santa Clara County, is so big, we have folks that sometimes come from Gilroy or Morgan Hill to meetings, and if they have young children, it's really hard for them, and they weren't able to make it. But with Zoom and virtual, they were able to attend. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're trying to preserve some of those positives that came out of COVID.
And it's true. Able to work remote and still make those meetings, which is fantastic. So, a mayor of Mountain View, and then all of a sudden supervisor. It's like you just grew, up the ladder and into all these positions. Which, I mean, what made you go to supervisor? Is that like a natural next step? So people know, like, hey, if you're in the political space, these are some natural stepping stones. Or how did it happen?
I think that there's different tracks.
Okay.
And for me, I really like the local aspect of just feeling grounded in the community. But I actually spent 16 years on the Mountain View City Council, and we have a 2-term limit. So we can do 8 years straight, and then we have to take 2 years off at least, and then we can come back. And that's what I ended up doing. So I was nearing the end of my first 8 years, and the seat that I'm currently in actually opened up. And I decided to run for it briefly at that time. And then Joe Simidian, who decided to run in that. And I had known him and his wife, and I decided to step aside and support him for the seat.
Wow.
And so I actually didn't think that I would have another opportunity, because you are kind of on a track, and you just have to stay visible, frankly, to be viable. So I thought once I finished my 8 years, that would be it. And and I was okay with that. So I ended my 8 years. I went to work for Evan Lowe, Assemblymember Evan Lowe, who had just gotten elected, and I was his district director. And then year 2, during that 2-year break, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And so I went through the entire mastectomy, chemo, radiation, and then a week after my last radiation treatment, I decided to kick off my campaign to get back onto the Mountain View City Council. So people were asking me, "Oh, would you come back?" And my first 8 years was spent during the recession. So I was mayor during the Great Recession in 2009. So we did a lot of planning, but we had no money to do anything. So I left feeling a little my job wasn't quite finished. So I decided I wanted to come back. And it was like I was talking to my doctor, telling her, this is what I want to do. Is the timing of all my treatments going to work out? And it was
Can we just schedule cancer in here and then leave this in here? Wow.
And then I was trying to do it quietly, because again, as a woman, we have a lot more right expectations. And that was the year Hillary Clinton was running, and she had collapsed at an event. And there's all this, question of, is she fit enough to be president, and this and that. And so I just didn't want to deal with that. So I did this thing where you wear these, basically this cold caps. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
To keep your hair. And that was probably the most excruciating part of the whole treatments, but just trying to hide it, frankly.
Because of the stigma. I mean, it's just, hey, you're not well enough
Yes.
to be in office. You're not well enough to serve because you're sick.
And I heard that's labor intensive doing the cold capping. Like you have to have somebody with you, changing them out every 10 minutes or whatever it is. Like, did you have somebody from your family that was there supporting you through that journey?
Yeah, so fortunately, my husband of 31 years now, he's always been there. And you're exactly right. And this was 10 years ago. So I know the technology is much better now, but we would have to go the night before, get 80 pounds of dry ice in our 2 coolers, cart that into, the hospital. And then every 20 minutes you have to change them out, and they're like solid. So he'd have to hammer them to soften them up and then shape them into my head.
Was it also cold and painful?
Oh, yes. It was just excruciatingly, cold and painful. And then it's a 9-hour process. So.
It's like a constant brain freeze. I have a friend of mine who went through that as well. And her husband was there too. And he's like, my arms have never had such a workout, like doing all this stuff, So it's amazing you had that support to get through that. And I just want to call out, like you've mentioned twice now, COVID happened to where you were forced in a good way to be there with your family and help your daughter. And then you had this 2-year break that you didn't get to where you wanted to be because you took a step back, but it ended up being for a reason, because you needed to focus on your health. So the universe was on your side, getting you taken care of, getting your family taken care of before you take that next step in your political journey.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. In hindsight, when I think about what I had to do to, campaign for this position, it was really quite intense, and there's no way I could have done it with my girls at that age in middle school, and then especially now knowing or realizing what my older one was going through. So yeah, I do believe that. I think the world has a way, the universe has a way of just, making things work out. So
Right.
And what stage cancer was it? Wow.
it was stage 2. So that was very heartening. And, we really struggled with, like, what do I tell my daughter or our daughters? And once my doctor said it's stage 2 and it's curable, that's when we shared it with my girls. And then it was for me just like, okay, whatever I need to do, just tell me, doc, what I need to do. I put my faith in you, and let's just get through it.
Wow. And you're doing okay now, or so far?
This is my 10th year.
Wow.
Still in remission is what they call it. Is that correct?
Yes, I guess so. Yes. So I think this year might be the milestone year.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll be rooting for you. I mean, unfortunately, we've had a lot of women on this podcast, and a lot of women that have had breast cancer, and it's more common than we think. And I love that you're talking about it, because the stigma is real. It's like we all get sick, but we all try and hide it. It's like we are humans. We are not robots. We are going to get sick. We are going to break down, and we're going to need to be built back up. So
yeah, I was really fortunate. Like once I was diagnosed and I shared it with my friends, and like you said, I was shocked at how many people had either gone through it themselves or had someone, loved one go through it. I knew nothing about cancer. It's not in my family. I had none of the markers. And then this happened. And so, and unfortunately, one of my really close mom friends had just gone through it. And she had a binder. She put, everything in there and gave it to me and just walked me through the process. And so I guess I felt like after, I could tell folks about it after the election. I really wanted to do that, to share, to hopefully be a resource for others who might have to go through this, and just be a part of that network. There's a real sisterhood.
Yeah, there is.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
That's such a common theme we hear, is the sisterhood
That's
keeps you
created
kinda
through
going.
that, for sure.
Yes.
Well, thank you for sharing. That's phenomenal that you are just so strong in that way. And so thank you.
And what a great role model for your girls.
Yeah.
Also to see you.
And that must be hard also, just your children. I mean, they're worried about you too.
Yes, I think though. And then it was like even now we talk more about it, and as my older daughter again has shared, her journey, and this was a part of it. And I tried really hard to not share it with them. I wanted them to just have a normal life.
Sure.
And so, I was still driving them to volleyball practice and this and that. And it later has now come out that I probably should have been more forthcoming with them because there was just a lot of questioning. They didn't really know what was going on.
Oh, so then they felt like they didn't know. So then they maybe assume different things or get even more worried
and the
stuff.
fear. There's like a lot of fear there, I think. So
it's you know what, we're always going to look back and be like, I should have done this, I should have done that. But that's hindsight 2020, right? We're always gonna wish we could have done something different, but
and there's no perfect
answer.
That's true.
And what they're ready for, you think they were ready for it or not? It's hard. Yeah. Okay, so you went through that, and you're doing okay so far. So then your next office position.
Yes. So, I came back from the cancer, did my 8 years on the city council again, was mayor during COVID in 2020. And then I was terming off last year, or 2 years now, I guess, in 2024. And the seat was opening up. And again, I just didn't think I'd have a second chance. And here it was. And so I've realized over my lifetime, I think we all do, that when opportunities come, they don't come very often. So sometimes you just have to grab it. And was in a fortunate place. My girls were going to college, and I could really put my 100% into running for the seat. And it was it's a big district. We have nine cities in District 5, and it was, I started early, so almost 2 year process.
Wow.
But fortunately, very, very grateful that I was elected.
Okay, so when you're supervisor, and I remember some of us that were here in this room, we all came out and we did a little fundraiser for you.
Yes, thank you so much.
No, but it was nice to be part of something. And one of the things that I also did is I had a lot of women in tech attend.
Yes.
And they were like, I've never been to anything that was supporting the community. And there's a lot of questions like, what does a supervisor even do?
Right.
They were just like, I know Margaret and I have her, the lawn sign, going on, and we're supporting her. But there's a lot of questions. And I think sometimes we're so busy in, working in our fields, being in, especially like tech industry or whatever industry you're in, and you're not paying attention to what's going on with local politics and in your community. More, not like whether you're this side or that side, but what does a supervisor do? Yeah, that'd be helpful.
Yes, that's probably like the number one question I got.
Okay, good.
Like, what do you supervise? And so the city is about, a lot of it is about land use. So within the city, where should the housing be built? Where should the retail or commercial be? The county is seen as a social safety net for the community. So we take care of the most vulnerable. Things like social services, child protective services, welfare, homelessness. And we also do health care. So not every county does, but Santa Clara County runs a health and hospital system. So we now own 4 hospitals and run those. So Valley Medical being the largest and oldest, and then we acquired 3 others. One that we just opened last year, Regional Medical on the east side of San Jose. And again, we take care of everybody. We don't turn anyone away. And so a lot of our patients are Medi-Cal patients.
Okay.
And so again, it's really taking care of the most vulnerable in our community. And that's what really resonated with me when I first started learning about the county, given my upbringing and experience, just wanting to make sure that everyone, regardless of background, has, the opportunities to succeed.
And how long have you been serving in this new position?
So I just finished my first year in January, and still learning a lot. It's a big organization. Our budget is $13.5 billion.
Where do you get that money from? All the taxpayers?
Most of it is taxes. A lot of our funding comes from the federal government and the state government.
Okay.
And that's actually been one of our biggest challenges because of what the federal administration has done with their budget, the HR one, their budget in slashing Medicaid. Food assistance is also another big program that the county runs, but the funding comes from state and federal, and that's been cut. So Medi-Cal in Santa Clara County, 25%. So 1 in 4 residents are actually on Medi-Cal here.
Oh, wow. Didn't know that.
And then there's 130,000 who are on CalFresh, the food supplemental food nutrition program, and mostly seniors. So this is really attacking the most vulnerable in our community. And I'd say that's our biggest challenge and priority is to, continue to protect everyone. And that's been our motto is that we're one county, one future. Regardless of what your background is, we're here to serve you and protect you.
Yeah, and speaking of that, we're in an interesting climate on immigration, and you hear about ICE and all that stuff. So you said federal versus the state and all these different policies. I mean, just from an educational standpoint, I mean, how does this work? I mean, we're hearing a lot of it happening in different states, but how is it happening in California with immigration? It'd be great.
Sure. So immigration is seen as a federal issue, but obviously it affects everyone. I think what we're seeing is the federal government's policies around immigration have become much stricter, and they've tied that to funding. So the funding that we get from the federal government, whether it's immigration or even diversity, DEI programs, they're trying to eliminate that. And they have told us local governments, local agencies that, if you don't get rid of those programs, we are not going to fund you. And our county, I'm very proud of Santa Clara County because back in the first 2016 era, when these types of practices were happening, our county actively fought back and frankly sued the federal government.
You could do that? I know. You could sue the federal government.
Yes.
And so, what do you sue them for? Just to not make it happen? Or do you get money from them still? I don't know. How does it work?
So this time around, again, we've sued or joined in lawsuits on birthright citizenship, the denying undocumented people services. The most recent one that we joined onto a lawsuit by writing a amicus brief of a friend of the it's like a friend letter that we wrote in support of the jurisdictions that were protesting what was happening in Minnesota and saying that the ICE raids and the increase of ICE officers is offense to our civil rights. And fortunately, some of those lawsuits we've won.
You won that.
Wow.
Yes. So then that means that ICE is not allowed to come in here in California or certain counties, or what does that mean exactly?
Yeah. So it goes to a certain level of court. So based on where that court is and the jurisdiction of that courthouse or the court, that area then
I see.
would abide by what the ruling is.
Okay.
Yes, we've won some of them, and then they might get appealed to a higher level. But until that happens, there's an injunction. So
where they're not allowed to be here.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. That's amazing. Jeez. And then I guess with all of this happening, is it only certain people in office that are going to go and sue and bring it up as these legalities? Or because I'm sure, how do you make sure everybody wants the same thing? Sure, that's hard. I mean, we're all in different sides of the political space, but for something like that, does everybody have to agree to hey, we're going to do this?
So no, not everyone has to agree. I think if someone decides to do it, they can do it on their own. And and I would say San Francisco and our county, Santa Clara County, we've been very really great, have a great working relationship. And we're probably the two counties, at least in this area, that have taken that stand that we're going to fight back. And so they'll do a call out and invite other jurisdictions to join. And some cities have joined as well. So it's really up to that jurisdiction to decide what they want to do. And, frankly, there has been a level of fear and concern because if you're dependent on the federal or even the state, other entities for your funding, right now, especially with the federal government, there's a fear that if you, do these things maybe they'll cut off the funding. And I've certainly have heard that from other folks in other jurisdictions, and really understand that, very much understand that. But for me, I think we just have to stand up and again, and protect and fight for our residents, and especially Santa Clara County being as diverse as it is.
True.
This
Considering
really
where we
goes,
live,
yes, to the core of who we are. So I'm very proud that we're able to stand up and speak out.
Well, thank you for doing that and providing clarity. I had personally no idea that was even an opportunity to fight against it.
Yeah. I thought it was just they dictate how you do things and it rolls downhill and you go along. So it's actually encouraging to hear that there is a way to fight back.
Yes. I get a lot of, we get a lot of calls, people wanting to know what to do. And I think the protesting, the speaking out.
Does it really help?
It does make a difference, I believe. We had heard that we were going to have this influx of ICE officers coming in because of some of the major events that are happening. And I think because the community has been out there and rallying and protesting, they probably realize they're not welcome here, and probably don't want that, big scene to happen, especially with what happened in Minnesota. So we've heard that they will not be coming. And,
And do your girls want to go out and protest and do stuff like that?
Yeah, so my older one is a social activist, I would say.
Right.
She was in the social justice club. At
Apple doesn't fall far from the tree, maybe.
They both say they'll never run for office, and I get it. You see the good and the bad of this, right? But I'm glad that she is definitely interested, and especially I think the Gen Z generation. They are very concerned about the future, whether there's going to be, an earth for them to have a future in. And so they're very vocal and concerned about climate change. And for me, like I've always said, I'm a mom at the end of the day, and I do this because of my kids and all kids. And so that's been a lot of what's determined my priorities. So things like climate change are top of the list for me.
Wow. Oh, so that's where you would spend most of your energy of trying to get policies approved as well?
Yes. Okay. So climate change and just affordability right now, whether it's housing, transportation's another area that I get. Being mobile, like being able to get to places is so core, right, to success. And so having a strong transit system here that everybody can take is really important to me too.
Okay, so you're a year in, you're a supervisor, you have things that you're passionate about, so keep on going. So thank you so much for being here with us today. But one of the things that we also like to end our podcast with is, who would you like to uplift and pay it forward and, mention a woman, and this is your platform.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I think that we've talked about her already, but again, I go back to Anna Eshoo as my mentor, the person that's been the epitome of what I think a ideal policymaker is, and just her courage and her compassion, and then her willingness to, take a random person like me and mentor. So I'm just really grateful for her. And my hope is that if I can do half of what she's done and inspire the next young woman to run for office, that would be great.
I'm sure she's very proud of how far you've come already and where you will go.
Yeah, she's amazing. And I know even when we did that fundraiser for you when you were running, so many women were like, oh, maybe I can run for office. So I think you are already paying it forward. It's just knowing that is a possibility of a path. People pivot in their careers all the time. So so I think it's amazing that you're doing that and showing that it is possible. So thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think, again, the beauty of this is there's really very few requirements, and you can do it at any point in your life. And we just need more voices, more women. I really see we add a different perspective. Yeah. We have a different way of doing things. Frankly, I think we just are better at getting things done.
I think so too.
I agree. Look, Rosie the Riveter style.
Yeah, there we go. We might be doing this podcast for a reason and elevating all the wonderful work that women do. And maybe we'll all end up running for office, and let's do it.
We can do it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much
you.
for being
you,
here.
Margaret.
We really appreciate it. Yeah.
Beautiful conversation and story.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you
And
for
with
all
that,
you're doing.
That's a
a
wrap.
wrap.
All right.
Humanize Her would not be possible without the crew behind the scenes. Thank you, Becky Davis, our talented director of photography, creative producer, and editor for bringing our stories to life with stunning visuals. Kristen Basil West, our director of brand and design for creating an emotional brand identity. Ash Blodgett, our director and creative producer for guiding us with expertise, creativity, and passion. Natalie Rodriguez, our production designer and gaffer for crafting our atmosphere and lighting with intention. Jasmine Orozco Lugo, our program and social media manager for building and amplifying our mission. To our listeners, we're on this journey together, and we love hearing how this podcast has helped you. It keeps us going. So please keep sending us your stories to her@humanizeher.com to be featured in upcoming episodes. If you'd like to help us with our movement, please support us by rating and subscribing. Until next time.